What is up, y'all? It is Jerry once again from Team Unco Studios, back with the second part of the sample edit lesson. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into this, okay? So you remember from the first video, we kind of left off here with the sample up on the sample edit. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of go back a little bit so we can remember how we got here. So if I go to the home, little home symbol here, which is in the top left toolbar. You'll remember I dragged over my ADSR touch piano over here to my, actually we dragged it to a pad, right? So I dragged it to a pad and I just hit my A1 pad and now I can hear the sample, right? Remember we double click to turn our sample off, all right? Double click stop, okay? And so that's kind of where we left off. And then we went to sample edit and now we're here, all right? So now that we've got our sample kind of in our sample line here, we're going to kind of focus again back down to our console area here, okay? So you'll notice our kind of console changed a little bit here, all right? So if I go to home there, you'll see it changed again, right? And then if I go now to sample edit, you'll see now I've got this, all right? So what it changes to is this is more for your recording and your mix and kind of like what you're going to be putting on your timeline for the song, or for whatever you're creating. This here is more for editing this sample, okay? Not all of it, but some of it, just if you think about it like this, it's a little bit easier to follow, okay? This kind of turned into an editing bay, all right? Now you notice my cue links changed here. You'll notice my pads also changed and my parameters changed here, and the projects and samples pretty much kind of stayed the same, all right? But this stuff did change. We can go over this again in another video. I'm not really going to go through a lot of this right now, but just know this is kind of editing tool stuff. And we are going to touch on some of it, but for right now, we're just going to kind of leave this here, all right? The purpose of this is to be able to start chopping this sample up, all right? MPC Beats has made it really easy for you to be able to do this like super easily. There's a section here, if you notice under my console toolbar here, right under it, there's another toolbar for the cue link section that are titled Trim, Chop, and Program, all right? Obviously, we are chopping, so we're gonna go to Chops, all right? Now again, you notice this changes here. So I go to Trim there, and you got this, and I go to Chop, and you see it changes again, okay? Again, we're not really gonna go over too much of this stuff. We can again in another video, like I said, but right now we're just going to focus on the pads, all right? So if you notice the pads changed now to this thing that says add slice here, okay? Again, like I said, MPC Beats has made it really easy for you to chop this where you can actually do it in real time just by hitting a pad, and then it actually just goes and you can hit another pad and it will chop the sample where you've hit that second pad and create a new starting point for that pad that you have pushed. I know, you guys, it sounds confusing, and maybe I'm just saying it so it sounds confusing, but we're gonna actually do it in real time, okay? So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on the other GoPro over here so we have like an actual, picture of my hand here, okay, for you. Let's see here. All right, there we go. So we've got that GoPro going now. All right, so we got some videos so you guys can actually see this in action. All right, so we're gonna just go ahead and start breaking up this sample at sections that we think sound good. Now remember, the beat is not gonna play in the background. This is just the sample, okay? So here we go. I'm gonna start with my A1 pad here, and here we go. Okay, and that was pretty much it, all right? Now, if you notice when I go back to hit my A1 pad, I want you to kind of hit your pad, but notice up on the screen, the sample is gonna stop now where our number 2 sample marker is, right here, okay? So, okay, you see that? It stops now at that marker, okay? Now, if I hit the second pad, you'll hear it. It starts from the second marker, okay? But you can also edit where you want that marker to be, All right. So again, if you notice when I hit the second pad, there's a little skip right at the beginning, right there. Okay. So we'll play it again. So it's still kind of trailing into the first little chop that we made. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten that up just by coming up here. And if you hover right over this green, the little green marker, you'll notice that there's a two-way arrow pointing left and right. Okay. That is to move your marker. Okay. So you'll notice, boom, I want it right there. If you hover over your sample, you will notice there's a downward red arrow with a plus sign there. That is to make a chop. Okay, so you can make an extra chop here just by pushing there, and it'll now chop it there. Okay, and it'll automatically move it over on your pads all the way. So it'll still be in order. All right, so let's go ahead and listen to the first little chop here. Nice, it's a nice clean stop there. Let's hear the second one. Okay, there is kind of still a little bit of a blip there. So let's see if we can tighten that up. Okay, that doesn't sound bad. Okay, so we'll probably stop it before it hits that little piano part. So let's go. Okay, that sounds pretty good. All right, those parts sound good together. All right, we can keep this going, or we can move this wherever we want, to here maybe. So that sounds fine, right? And I think there was like some kind of a change here somewhere. So let's hear what that was like. So it's right in there. And if you notice, I just added a marker there. Okay. So if you notice, I just added a marker. I just kind of went boom and added a marker, and you'll notice it moved everything down to my pads. Now here's 6, 7, and 8. Okay. And then if I want to get rid of this marker, I can just double tap it. And now it's gone. And now I can play my number 5 sample on my A5 pad. So that sounds pretty cool. I like these first two along with this guy for our beat. So let's go ahead now and play our beat. And so what you've got to do is you've got to play your beat in the background and then play the pads in sample mode right here. You're still in sample edit, okay? We have not made this a program yet, all right? So we're going to go ahead and hit play on the beat, let it play for 2 bars, and then we'll come in with the sample and see what we can create, all right? Okay, here we go. Okay, so it seems like it would fit. I could sit there and fiddle around with that for an hour and a half, but I'm just giving you the example of kind of what it sounds like, just kind of messing around with it, okay? And you can move these markers and make it sound however you want, all right? But we're going to make it really simple. So let's say I found what I wanted. I say, this sounds good. Let's go ahead and make this sample here a program, okay? So this is the next step in what we're going to do, okay? So we're going to go ahead and take these pads here now, which are our slices, and we're going to make it a program that we are going to be able to find here and put into our pads like we normally would do on any program that is over here, like our ADSR kits and all that, right? Okay, so what we are going to do first is we are going to head over to our little section, our parameter section here that changed, and we're going to go down to non-destructive convert, and we're going to hit the new program, and we're going to have this thing pop up here. Okay, now when we hit OK, there's not a whole lot of stuff that's going to happen, like the screen's not going to change and things aren't going to do stuff. Okay, it's just going to churn your slices into a program. Okay, so once you hit do it, that's pretty much it. All right, so now where do we go to get this program? Right, what we're going to want to do first is we're going to want to take and label where it says program 1 here, because this is what this is, okay, where our original information is. So we are going to label this chops. All right, now we're going to go ahead and open our program. And if you will notice, we've got a new lo-fi loop ADSR program here, and it's labeled touch piano. So if we put that now, if we actually, let's go home first so you guys can see this. I've got my regular normal sample there, right? That we chopped up. And now if I go to my ADSR touch piano, boom, there's my pads. So we've taken this chop single guy and we've created now this out of it. All right. And now if I hit my pads, okay, so I'm hoping that's making sense. All right. So now we can go ahead and we can arm our record. We'll go ahead and let it play for 2 bars and then we'll start adding some sample. And that's, I mean, that's pretty much it. You know, from here, I could go wherever I want. I can duplicate this and I can add more of my sample and I can go on and on and on. I can go find a whole nother sample if I wanted to and fit it to this, okay? It's just the idea of how to turn your sample into a program, put it on your pads, and then be able to use your pads individually, all right? I hope this wasn't super duper confusing for you all. If I need to make a third video to kind of just brush up everything all together, I can totally do that, but I think I've explained it fairly well. You know, just make sure that you're always keeping your tracks and all of your, you know, workflow super organized, because if you're not keeping it organized, that means that somewhere, somehow it's unorganized. So if you notice, I've got my sample here, I've got drums. Try to keep things as organized as you possibly can, and it makes it so much easier for you all in the long run. All right. Okay. On the next couple of videos, we're going to be working on a couple of different things. I'm going to start getting into a little bit of mixing talk and kind of, you know, different things about compressors and EQs and reverbs and, you know, just some different stuff to some, you know, music and stuff that we're working on and getting made. And, you know, I'll try to make the videos a little bit shorter so they'll be a little bit more informative and not as long and draggy like the sample edit one has been. So, all right. We hope you all are doing well out there. Peace and love from all of us at Team Unco Studios as usual. And we will see you all on the next video. All right. Later.